second session of the day, I'm delighted to introduce Mr. Pranav Chopra, founder and managing director at Princeton Healthcare Private Limited. Mr. Chopra leads Princeton Healthcare Private Limited, a medtech company focused on developing innovative products that improve global healthcare with a background in mechanical engineering from IIT Madras and an MPhil from Cambridge University. He has over 8 years of experience leading impactful healthcare projects. He's also a former Stanford India Biodesign Fellow and has held key roles at Sagentia and Venostics. He holds 4 patents and is passionate about improving the quality of life through technology. Today, Mr. Chopra will be speaking on the topic addressing complex healthcare challenges through a systematic biodesign approach. The session will be followed by Q&A. I encourage you all to actively engage during the same. Please join us in welcoming Mr. Pranav Chopra with a huge round of applause.
Hi, am I audible? How about now? Better? Okay. Thanks. Good morning. Good afternoon. I am Pranav, founder of Princeton Healthcare, but that's just one of the small things that I do. I'm primarily an innovator, trying to solve problems that people face, bringing products to life. That's my passion. How do you bring products to life? And last 15 years I've spent in the healthcare domain, working on products in the healthcare domain. So I'll be talking a little bit more about the structure of innovation, which is a new thing, and how you follow a process, the madness of creating products. Okay, a little bit brief about myself. I did my undergrad and master's in mechanical engineering and product design from IIT Madras way back in 2006, 20 years now. Then I took up another program called Industrial Systems, Manufacturing and Management at Cambridge. This was primarily to understand how things are made and how organizations are run. To inform myself better as a designer. Not because I wanted to get into manufacturing, but so that I can design better products. You cannot design good products unless you know how they are made, and unless you know how those organizations work which make these products and sell them. Right? Worked in the industry, developing a lot of different kinds of products, all the way from dialysis machines to I've heard of Fallout. How many of you have heard of Fallout? The parent company of Fallout is a company called SC Johnson, and they have a research facility way in the outskirts of civilization in the US, designed by a very famous architect. They do research on insects. They actually have an insect lab. They grow rare insects. They test their products on it. So that's the kind of science that goes into that small pluggy that goes into socket. So I work with them on some of their products as well. So wide variety of products, anything that is of use to humans, I worked on, and took up a fellowship at Stanford and Ames, looking more deeply into how needs are to be thought about. How do you observe problems? How do you identify what you should be working on, what you should be doing? And then founded Princeton Healthcare for a particular segment of patient population, those who have a condition called costly. I'll talk a little bit more. So at Princeton, we work to improve the quality of life of more than 2 million people globally who currently defecate in a bag hanging from their waist. It's literally a small bag stuck, and that's a bag in which people poop. So we decided to do something about it. We said there is something not right about this thing. What can be done to support them, support these people? And we developed a couple of products, a base technology, and built 2 products out of it to allow users to control their bowel habits, so that they don't have to go about their office, their social life with a bag full of their own food. A little bit more details about the need. These are people who have had intestinal surgery due to colon cancer, rectal cancer, or some other diseases like ulcerative colitis, where the large intestine is practically removed. The disease portion of it at least is removed, and the healthy portion is brought out of the abdomen through an incision, and it's just pulled out like a tube and sutured outside. And you see that first picture, that's actually the opening of the intestine. The intestine is literally peeking out of the abdomen, and that's where the feces comes out of. And for the last almost 100 years, the people who have this condition are now kind of treated and they're free of their underlying disease. They have to now live with this bag stuck around it. The feces just keeps falling out uncontrollably, not continuously. So we identified there are a couple of problems. First and foremost, there's loss of continence. People cannot control their bowel evacuation. The feces just comes out. These bags that they use, though very versatile, they have a fundamental issue that they require frequent change. Every 3 days, you have to change this bag, throw it away, put a new one. These bags leak quite frequently. Nearly 80% of people who use bags report leakage or leakage associated issues like skin exfoliation that you see in the pictures there. The skin around where these are stuck is all destroyed due to the chemicals of the feces eating away the skin. And then what we don't really see, but we feel, that person who is healthy, 35-year-old person who is left with a bag of their own pieces, they can go to the office, they can go have a date, go on a date, no problem, they can get married. But this prevents them. There's a big psychological stress, there's a social taboo which prevents them from living a full life. These 4 or 5 key problems, when we identified, we said this is something that cannot be addressed while using the current solution, which is a bag. And we talked to a lot of patients, other key stakeholders like nurses who are very closely associated with patients and their care, doctors because they need to ensure that the patient is not injured. And we realized that this is something that has to be targeted and can be targeted, where if we provide control over bowel evacuation, a lot of these problems can be resolved. So what we did, we sat down, thought about it quite deeply, looked at a lot of work that was already done, what was the direction other people were taking, and then came up with our own ideas on how to provide that continence. And we created what we call now Crimson Stoma Cap, which is a continent device. It's completely external, stuck around the stoma or the opening, and allows the user to very easily control the bowel evacuation. So it's very usable, self-administered, no surgical intervention, no intervention or change in practice, surgical practice. It is bagless because you don't require a bag that is hanging continuously on the abdomen. Leak proof, there is no chance of stool leaking from outside or anywhere, and very discreet. And that was what took us a long time to work with the patients because they were very clear that they want very discreet stuff. So that is what is the problem. A bag which is bulky, which is bloated. I can only wear loose baggy clothes. I cannot wear a sari. Things like those made us look and change and iterate again and again to get a very low profile solution, and that's where the invention and patent also lies. Where how do you provide that mechanism in a very low profile, low height? With that base technology, we actually have 2 products which cater to slightly different type of ostomy patients. One is for what is called colostomy patients, those who have had this surgery on the large intestine, and then Leona, which is under clinical trials, is a bit more invasive but still self-administered and works the same way for patients who have had this surgery on the small intestine, because the stool type is very different in both cases. Just to give a peek of how things transform once a user uses a previous solution and then ours. The biggest thing that we've heard, we were thinking that loss of restoring continence would be the biggest value that we give to our customers. And once they started using it, actually the biggest value that they felt was transformation of body image. Their self-confidence, their confidence to go out and mingle in the world was the biggest value that they found. So even if it doesn't provide that level of confidence that we were trying to provide, they still had value of it and they would use it in a very different way than what we were trying to do. That's another learning that we had. We also built an app that assists them in managing their device. This device also needs changing, but not in 3 days, 15 to 20 days. Leona is a 1 month change device, so less frequent change. But they still have to manage their ostomy output. They still have to be advised when to go to the toilet because there is no sensation of rectum that you and I have. And some of the patients were very generous enough to give us feedback and testimonials, and we keep hearing from them continuously to ensure that our offering is tailored to their needs. We need to know what they need more and more. Product development is never complete; it just keeps upgrading. You go version 1, version 2, you have now iPhone 14. So you also need to keep generating and improving upon the innovation that we've done. And so that was my work that I did in the last 8 years. This was just to give you a flavor of what healthcare innovation can give you as an output. This was done in a very clinical, very systematic process. This was not an outcome of an emotional experience that me or my co-founder had. It was very, very, I would say, objective process. Right? Neither Neeraj nor I had this condition. We did not experience it. We were not emotionally charged that no, I have to solve this problem. We went about in a very clinical manner. Said, okay, what problem needs to be solved? Let's look at it. Let's identify out of the 15 or actually 100 observations that we did and 80, 90 needs that we came up with, which need is the one that we want to work on. And whether it's an innovation or an invention that we are going to do. And so this was to give you a flavor of how or what an output of such a process looks like, from observing to real use and actually solving something. And what I'm going to talk about and what you are going to do today is participate in the process of innovation, which is backed by invention. Expect any of you to invent things today, but at least get a flavor of the earlier parts of innovation, which is where most of us don't put our energy in, and which is why you have these great, cool products and gadgets which are of no use to you. And in healthcare and healthcare entrepreneurship, that's the last thing you want to do, because you can't have a cool gadget that you can sell. Consumer space, yes, cool gadgets you can sell just by its coolness, but in healthcare, unless it's a product that is solving a need, there is no way you are going to do any good either to yourself, to your wallets, or to the patients that you are helping. So, first and foremost, talk about two words: innovation and invention. These are two aspects of creativity. Innovation is the application or use of invention that causes change in behavior and interaction with the system. Very technical definition. And invention is the creation of anything. Anything you are creating, it's an invention. It is different from what exists. It's an improvement on what exists, but it is something of utility. It is something that is new. That's an invention. Innovation is just the application of either an invention or anything that you've done differently to solve a problem. That's innovation. They go hand in hand. They are not all opposite, but they are not the same. So quick exercise. I want you to answer what here is an innovation and what here you think is an invention? First one, I'll call it a smartphone. Louder. Okay. If I tell you that this is an iPhone, exactly. So that's the difference. The first time a smartphone was created was an invention. When it is improved in a bit different form factor or a different application, it's an innovation. Ola, exactly. The service model innovation. Airbnb. Sorry? I heard some inventions as well. Who said it? Why do you think it's an invention? Explain more specifically.
There was a particular idea about Airbnb, so we can say that that was an innovation. But the moment it was invented physically, we can say it as an invention.
No, I'll tell you why. Because Airbnb, the idea was, what was the idea? To connect people who want to earn more by renting out their place but did not have any structure to it, and to connect them with people who wanted to rent a place but they did not want to have the experience of a hotel. So that's the innovation was the idea. But there is some invention behind it, but that invention we don't see. You're kind of right. The invention was in the way the technology or the app was developed, maybe the algorithms that went into uh, matching, the algorithms that went into creating the software. There may be invention, but here the innovation came first and then the invention was done to support that. Innovation is actually a business model, which is tech enabled. Here you see a little bit both. What about Netflix?
One small question. But when you talk of technology, or sorry, algorithm or software, you don't classify them as invention.
Not in India, but in the West, you can patent
Also,
algorithms.
only they're substantial. They're very
Yeah.
guidelines. So that's
So
why
if-
blanket thumb rule is that software
Software is
or
not,
algorithm is not invention.
but the biggest aspects of Adobe patents are
The patent they can have. Patent is a different story. You can get patent for innovations also. Value addition should be there.
so invention. We don't agree. A lot of people don't agree that software is invention or algorithms are invention. Then there are a lot of people out there who want to protect that, so they do call that invention. But they would have invented certain technical protocols. Uh, Especially Netflix did do that. How do you do data compression? How do you do, you know, fast streaming of large amount of data? There was some invention in Netflix, but Netflix also as an idea existed. It was an innovation where people are renting out things. They said, let's rent it out over here. What about Pool? Have you heard of Pool? No. That is actually a proper invention. That's a proper invention. Pool is a company, they collect waste flowers from temples and convert them into incense sticks. That's actually a very good invention. So invention need not be this amazing, great, crazy, cool thing. It can be as simple as that. It can also be an invention, and as complicated as this could be an innovation. That was my idea to give you a flavor of difference between invention and innovation. Right? Coming to that, innovation does not mean a cutting edge technology, but neither does an invention. It, invention actually does mean something cutting edge. It may not look cool, it may be as simple as making something out of flowers or leather out of waste flowers, could be an invention, but it is still cutting edge because nobody else has done it. Whereas innovation is a lot of is most of the times user, business, or technology centric. And more in today's world, sustainability, and ecological centric as well. It's an overlap of all of these functions and many more now. In the conventional design process, now I'll go back to what we did, and this is the more structured part of the innovation process that we follow, and nowadays is becoming mainstream design process. You can call it design thinking, you can call it design methodology, you can call it biodesign process if it is applied to healthcare, but essentially it's the same across applications and it's the innovation process. It is very pertinent in the healthcare domain primarily because of the first aspect, the first of the double diamond. Discover and define. You need to ensure that you are going to work on the right thing. How do you do that? You first observe, discover. You have some idea, you have some context, you saw some problem, and you said, what is this all about? And the first step that you do is you discover everything about that topic. You understand the pathology, you understand the physiology, you understand how the system works, how the gastric system works, even if it is not directly related to the condition or the problem that you saw. But you do explore, you see everything, because something might be of use to the solution process. You need to become expert in that field. So you go wide, look at every aspect of the problem. After that, once you've done your homework, once you've done quote unquote become an expert in that domain, you start defining your problem. Now is the time to look at it with a very focused vision. What problem exactly am I going to solve? What is worth solving? And you converge your thoughts into defining a very explicit, very specific need that you or problem statement that you work on. It has to be explicit, it has to be specific, it has to be targeted. Because unless you do that, you can be working on 5 different things. So you define what am I going to work on. And then comes the creative part. Planning part, creative part. Then you develop. While creating, you do a lot of ideation. You think about how do I solve this problem. You may have 5 different ways to solve the same problem. There are multiple paths to the answer. You look at all of them and create a lot of inventory of possible solutions, and then start focusing again to find out what actually will work. What wows is not visible, but then from what wows, like I have these 15 things, something is going to be amazing. Then you see what works out of it. What exactly is going to truly solve the problem that I defined in the previous process step. And then you go on to create that product, ship it out, and to get it in the hands of the user. You can call it, you can use a lot of different phrases, a lot of different words. So here we talk about discover, define, develop, deliver. You can talk about it in the form of empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Empathy is your discovery process. You want to be part of the problem, you want to understand how it works, how it impacts the users, what they feel you need to feel and understand, and then define the problem from a bringing in your expertise or focus. You define the need, then you ideate where the creative process starts, and then you prototype, create the product, and physically realize the idea. Really, the innovation process is not as linear. It's a mix and match with a lot of different things. Because once you start getting into the system, you have a lot of things that you have to do. Right? It's an interconnected web, and that is why you need structure of the process. So you need to. This is all you'll be doing. If you have that clarity that I have to first create my need, right? And if you create my need and understand what is the context, identify exactly what problem I'm going to work on, look at its feasibility, and then create the product based on all the constraints that are there, that you identified in the discover process. And then how do you create a business? So you overlay the structured process over an intricate web of activities that what you have to do. Another way to talk about it is the 3Ds, popular lingo: discover, design, deploy. You keep going up and up in the hierarchy of things that you want to do. You're first going to discover what you have to work on, then you design it on paper, then you deploy it, you get it in the hands of the user, test it, feedback, iterate, and carry on. Right? So I've been stressing a lot on the need. I find out what the world needs and then I go ahead and try to invent it. Attributed to Thomas Edison, I can't certify to it, but great saying nonetheless. Because if I don't know what people need, what do I invent? What do I Let's go a little bit step by step. When you start identifying the need or what problem you want to work on, you need to have some strategic focus. I can't go into a hospital and just go to every department and keep looking at things. It will take me years to figure out what problem I want to work on. You'll see problem in every stage. So have a strategic focus. Uh, take look at a particular uh, department, maybe gynae, maybe physiotherapy, maybe cardiology, maybe pulmonology, maybe critical care, ambulance, uh, technical education, diet, something. Pick a focus area. Then you do a needs finding. Basically, what you do, you go observe. You be part of the actual healthcare delivery. Look at the problems that exist. Observe what you find as a problem. Then you do a primary research. What is primary research? Anybody share your thoughts? What do you think would be primary?
Literature review, user interviews.
Yes.
Kind of scientific approach where we feel those things like what we need at the first, we make it as a primary research. After that, we go with the people's research.
What is primary research?
The scientific
If
approach.
somebody is being treated for pneumonia, would you go catch pneumonia and then experience it?
What we want, if we get that kind of thing. Basically, an IMUV approach.
It's not possible no, in this case.
And
You can't experience it. You have to observe the problem. You have to observe. Like, Muti had one sentence on his slide I saw, wall on the fly on the wall approach. To be there, not disturb what is happening, but actually see everything that is. It's also called immersion. You understand the context, you inquire, then you go deeper, you talk to the people, you talk to the stakeholders, talk to the people who are having that problem. What you think is it? And then secondary research is what we do is literature review and what is out there in the market, what other people are doing about it, um, and then screen. We already talked about this. Empathetic observation. You report, you observe, you talk to people, you have interviews, you give out questionnaires to get more information about what you didn't even see. Now, what do you observe? Typically, when you are standing there, professional is treating a patient, you look for markers. What is causing pain? To the patient or to the healthcare provider or to the system. Pain is not necessarily the physical aspect of pain. Pain, discomfort. What is troubling them? Is there any confusion? Is there any frustration in implementing what they are doing? And then the other thing is implicit markers. Sometimes people may not feel that this is a problem. They're so used to it, they're trained in it. Robotic surgery is a great example for that. surgeons have been trained to operate in a particular way, they don't find any problem. In fact, that's their livelihood. But the repetitive action, time consuming, inefficiency, cost, uh, poorer outcomes. If, if a surgeon has accepted that there will be 20% failure rate of this particular surgery, they've never accepted it's due to the human aspect. And that is why it took a long time to convince surgeons to go for laparoscopic first and then now robotic surgery, robotic assisted surgery. Because they're used to it. You have to observe the implicit markers. There are some repetitive actions which the surgeon doesn't like to do, or hurts their hands, or there's so much time consumed, the patient is on the OT table for such a long time. Can that be reduced? And how do you reduce it? Is the part where comes the solution. And what should you be doing when you are observing? You also have your own biases you have to overcome. You have to, open your eyes, not close your brain, but switch your brain in a different direction. You need to have a kid's mindset. Be very curious. Ask questions rather than think about it. Do not think about it. Just observe firsthand. See what is happening. Ask the questions. Find patterns. What is happening rather than why it is. Why comes a little later when you start digging deeper into it. And listen. Just listen. Don't talk as much as listen. What they say, how they say, and what they do can actually be different. They may say something, but how are they saying it? It may be because of certain inhibitions that they are saying it differently, what they actually mean. And many times what they do is completely opposite to what people say. So asking questions is sometimes just not enough. You have to observe things behind it. You have to be more curious. Different ways of doing interviews, do focus groups, one-on-one interviews, ask why. Do not go for yes or no questions in such cases. You want them to tell stories because that's where, and pay attention to non-verbal cues. Look at their body language. Some people are very afraid of telling you something, and so they might be saying something else, but they'll actually be meaning something. So you have to be very observant. And train yourself. This is another art. You have to train yourself in this. That your biases should not come out. And then this is going into that discovery phase where you do secondary after the primary analysis research. You go into secondary research where you look at what other people are doing, what research has been done, what is the literature say, what does the literature say about it, what is the IT landscape. There may be people who have actually done something about it, patented things, but never took to market. Some of them would be useful, and some of them will give you feedback that why they did not go to market because they not be the right approach. So knowing the right approach is also very wrong approach is also very important. And with these two back and forth, you keep going back and forth, keep validating what you've learned, go back to the stakeholders, ask the right questions again, do your research, secondary research. Maybe you've asked, maybe you need to update your questions, change your questions, ask them again. Maybe observe again now that you know more about this context. Uh, Keep doing the primary and secondary research for a while till you have good grasp of the problem that you want to do, and that is where that gap assessment comes because you've seen the context, you've seen the problem, you've looked at what is out there, and now you want to fine tune what is that problem. That's your unmet needs, user needs, or business needs. It could be either, or it could be institutional. Then this is now we are coming into that defined stage. How do you write a good need statement? It just comes with practice. Yes. Yeah. So look at patents. Look at design patents or actual utility patents. What other people are doing? What other technology has been published, because not everything would be published in scientific journals, right, or books. A lot of the work that is done in the industry is actually published. Anything specific to that in mind?
The landscape as a secondary data to innovate or have some
No, this is right now we are not innovating. Right now we are discovering and defining. We are identifying what we want to work on. So to identify what you need to work on, you need to know what already is out there. This is that part. You are trying to figure out what already has been done. If there is a particular problem that you saw, does a solution already exist? And it's just you have not seen it. It could very well be that the center or the couple of places that you did your observation, they were not using that solution. But it's very widely available. They were just not using it because they want to save money. So very well, which is actually a lot of the times in India. That's the case. We just don't use it. We'll do it by hand. We'll just wash the surgical tool and sterilize it, even if it is a plastic disposable, we'll just do it. So you may have those things you have to weed out. You're going out in the open real world. You don't want to actually invent something, go out there and find out that if 5 products already exist, you're just solving it better than I would. You want to find out beforehand. That's how you identify the gap. What does not exist is what you want to work on. Okay, coming back to the need statement. So a need statement is your guiding light. It's the thing that you will come back to again and again when you have to answer tough questions down the journey. So it has to be written very well. Typically, that's a structure, a good structure, a way to address a problem in a population or a context that gives a particular outcome. Examples: a way to improve hydration in athletes to reduce chances of cramps. You see, nicely written in each section. Not be useful, but nicely written. What is the problem? Lack of hydration in athletes. And what's the positive outcome? Reduction in chances of cramps. Similarly, a way to provide food options in a restaurant to minimize food wastage. I'm not telling you what kind of food option. I'm not telling you more or less. I'm just telling you I need to. The problem is that the way food options are presented right now, first, food wastage. How do I improve that to minimize food wastage in a restaurant? Not at home, not in a hostel mess, but in a restaurant. So you've set the context, you've set the population, who it is addressing, what is the problem, and what the good outcome would be when you solve it. So good need statement should not be long, should never ever contain a solution. It shouldn't be vague, it has to be specific. What the problem is, who will it address, and what will be the outcome if you solve it. Preferably, now I say preferably after 8 years of experience, I say preferably. We were taught that it should always contain a measurable outcome, but I would modify it to say, to my experience, that preferably it should contain a quantifiable outcome or a measurable. It need not be measurable, but an outcome nonetheless. So now we'll take a small pause. I will take a small pause. You guys will work. I have 4 observations for you, and what I want to do is get divided into a few groups, and each group can pick one observation and write some need statements that you think come out of this observation. You see something, there's a problem, there's a context that's given. I want you to write a need statement for it. How do you want to divide this? However you want to do it. That's too many people. There I think group of 5 or 6, no more than that. Come on, get up, everyone get up, please. Not a lecture, it's a workshop. If you want to be involved, that is also great. The front row can get together for fun. We have some papers, A4 sheets. You want to scribble and write. You actually have to work on it because you have to come here and talk about your belief. Let me know when you made your groups. Groups of 5 or 6 each. Can you please pass the A4 sheets around? Already? I'm assuming everyone has pens or pencils. Sorry?
Can you, it should be chosen out by a observation.
Choose and then. I just want to make sure that not everyone chooses one of them. All set? Teams are set? Okay. One person from each team, please stand up and tell me the observation that you. Okay. Observation 1. During a physical exam, the physician examines the oral cavity of a patient with their hands. Then he goes to the next patient and examines him or her without cleaning his hands. This observation, which team wants to take this observation? So one person from each team, raise your hands. One person from each team, raise your hands so I know how many teams there are. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams. Some non-participants. Okay. So, team 1, what observation are you taking?
I think we need some discussion.
Okay, I'll give you a couple of minutes.
It has to be done yesterday, not today. Team 2.
Okay.
Somebody take a record. Take a record like team 2 is taking observation number 4. Actually 4 you said, no? Team 3. Team 3. Next in this order. Which problem? Not yet decided? Team 4. Team 4. Say yes or not decided. Yes. Problem number or not decided. But you know time is ticking. So team 5 observation number 2. 6. Team 6. 2. Team 6 observation 2. Team 7. You are last 2. You are part of this team. Okay. Team 7 problem number 1. Team 8. 4. The city, the 4.
Observation 3. What team are you? Team 10.
Let's go this way. I think your group, what side? Which group I said? Group number 1. No, which group number I said? 7. 7, 1, 8, 4, 9. Your team, what is your team? Your team 10. Problem. 11. So 10 is 2. 10 is 2. 11. Speak louder. Not it is 5. Okay. 11. 11.
Team number.
टीम नंबर 11 पीछे है कोई टीम नहीं हाँ प्रॉब्लम 4 11 4 now come 12
Okay. So we चलेगा फिर 3. You get observation 3.
हाँ एक सेकंड You're part of a team? No. पीछे में टीम नहीं So what?
Okay, then we go with observation.
So तुम्हारा क्या नंबर था? So 13 is 2.
You are saying
14 is 44.
team.
Okay. You took 3. Group 3 observation.
Team 1. Observation. Okay. Okay. Team number. Your team number
बताया था अपना
14.
last 14 हाँ
Your 14. Observation 4. Okay. Observation 1 is only one. Okay, so we take 5 minutes to draft. You can come up with more than one need statement from each observation. And what we'll do, one person from each team will stand up and talk about their need statement. If it's more than one, other team member can talk about the second. And then maybe we'll work one or two need statements and try to move. Deciding first writing it out, making guidance, and then discuss it also like हाँ मैं अभी यही करता हूँ यहाँ पर by physical hygienic physician practices sorting best of modern infection in the और स्पेसिफिकली कॉल हर उसके बाद फिर 2 करोड़ तो अगर पॉपुलेट हो गया तो क्लाइमेट सस्टेनेबल sustainable, sustainable one-time use product.
चॉकलेट की ऑफिशियल मैं लिंक शेयर करता हूँ ऑफिशियल से अप्लाई कीजिए
Sustainable one-time use product for मतलब ऐसी कोई चीज जैसे ग्लव होगा या कोई भी ऐसी एक बार यूज किया फिर चेंज किया पहले भी पहले से ग्लव्स जो होते हैं मेन मेरे पास है तो क्या भर लेंगे उससे क्या काफी कुछ
मेड आईडी मैंने दे वो मैं व्हाट्सएप पे भेज रहा हूँ व्हाट्सएप फुल हो गया मेल वाला भी पता है
आप एक मेल
So remember that you are actually identify the need that you want to solve, not come up with the solutions for the observation that you did. You saw this happening. You have to extract the actual specific defining the problem, not a solution. In your need statement, there should not be a mention of products. Only problems. Okay, we'll take one more minute. And now let's write down the need statement. Write the need statement. And we'll start.
टॉपिक का दो तीन
डिजाइन चैलेंज के नाम से या के नाम से आपके घर किसी ने अभी रीड कर दिया
यही है कि ऐसे एक
I think time is up. Okay, we don't need a perfect statement right now. This is just to give you a flavor of the process. Shall we start? Which team wants to go first? Otherwise, I'll have to call up. Okay. Let's start with team 1. Okay. Just tell me the need statement. Take the mic.
The need is providing skin-to-skin therapy to the baby by making the mother feeling comfortable.
Okay. Could you explain the thought? How did you work on it?
Yes, sir.
So yours is observation 4. Okay, 3. Okay.
Uh, First of all,
What is the problem you identified?
that by giving skin-to-skin therapy, the mother is feeling uncomfortable. That's the problem. Because she is using the makeshift clothes, that is causing her uncomfortable. So we need to replace that with some unique solution which make her feel comfortable.
You're still thinking solution on it. Okay, good at it. Good at it. Let's see, anybody else in team 4, observation 3? You're not done. Okay, go ahead.
So basically, first we try to bifurcate the needs, the problem, like the population to target, and then the outcome. So in
It's working good.
so the first we found that need was to avoid hypothermia and also avoid the discomfort to mother. So here first we thought that there could be two problem statements. First would be for the baby and other could be for the mother.
Very good.
And then we tried to narrow it down so that the first target was to avoid hypothermia because it is the main problem. So we prepare a problem statement like this. The way to avoid hypothermia in preterm babies that keeps baby warm. We try to concise it. And talking about the mother wala part, I guess if the baby is warm, that could be avoided. Like it is not necessarily, to put the skin to skin. Yeah, it is not the measurable outcome. We thought.
Okay. No, we'll talk about who else's observation 3? Team 4.
Way to improve the availability of proper clinical equipments for newborn mothers and preterm babies in rural areas to reduce chances of hypothermia and discomfort in mothers while providing skin-to-skin therapy.
Good. You can do 2 needs out of it, one for mother, one for baby, but yes, all in all, fair enough. You've done team 1, team 4, team 9. Okay. Team 12. Team 12, observation 3. Your team 12? Come on, whatever you have. Okay. Close it, we have to go for lunch.
How might we improve the we can make the more comfortable to the mothers in the rural areas, the environment of the rural settings.
Say it like a need state.
make more comfortable in holding the baby mothers in the rural clinical setting for delivery.
So actually making more comfortable and outcome. Problem, what is the problem?
What is
So team 9. Tell me whatever you have.
Basically,
lack of equipment when low weight babies are born. That is the first problem. Second thing is inconsistency in electrical supply because they are the rural areas. And the third thing is makeshift in healthcare practices. And the fourth thing is limited access to specialized care.
So what is the need state? Give me a need state.
So these are the basic problems. So for each one of these,
Just pick one and make a need statement.
you mean to say the solutions?
Need statement.
Need statement.
A way to
Uh, it need to be somewhat innovative, low cost, and accessible to for these care solutions.
need statement out of the observation. A way to provide XYZ to ABC in order to. You saw some problem. You saw some observation. You said there is something wrong with it. Now you need to speak out what is wrong with it. You have to tell that.
Actually, the rural areas will not get those many accessibilities to.
One sentence. Not a paragraph. So, good at it. So, problem is lack of need for providing effective skin to skin care. One thing, I'll give you a bit of context. Skin to skin care, skin to skin therapy for for preterm babies, not just for hypothermia, it's also for development markers. It's actually been clinically proven and validated. It's one of the best therapies for preterm babies for chances of survival and thriving. It's actually a very good therapy on its own. So skin to skin therapy is not a problem. You don't need any other equipment. You need bare body to bare body of a child. Now, one of the problems could be how do you effectively provide that skin to skin? I'm just wrapping a cloth. The contact may not be enough. The person is uncomfortable, which could lead to less frequent or shorter duration, and the therapy may not be that effective. So, improving the effectiveness of the therapy for mothers unit, low birth weight or preterm. So, you've done a good job at identifying the problem and the need statement. So it would be effective in non-rural areas as well. It was just an observation. Just because it is said in the rural setting has been given in the observation doesn't mean that that is the problem. It could be. It could be. No. Skin to skin. There is no electricity in it. I take off my shirt and put my baby next to me. That's the whole beauty of skin to skin therapy, that your body temperature helps regulate the baby's body. You need that. Need that heat. That is what you are giving to the baby. Anyways, good attempt. All of you. Let's go to observation 4. There is a lot of 4. Team 2. Team 2. Stand up. Time is running short. 10 minutes. Observation 4. No?
So, a way to provide awareness and sense of accountability for participants and make the healthcare intervention by professionals more accessible. So, as to reduce the alarming levels of obesity, both in urban and
Okay. Maybe you can make it more succinct. Try to say a lot of things, lot of problems in one go. Make it multiple statements. Okay. Good. Team 3.
I mean, it's not important. My
Just
problem
get
is
it.
need to be changed now.
Hello?
Because this is a rendered.
We need to address lessen physical activity in day-to-day life to decrease obesity caused by sedentary life.
Mostly just drop that part.
Or move. Missed out the
Keep the
people.
name.
Uh,
Didn't drop.
people,
A way to, could you repeat that statement again?
a way to address lessen physical activity in day-to-day life to decrease obesity caused by sedentary lifestyle.
Okay. You could say young people, you could say old people, you could say obese people. You could specify the context a little bit more. Let's write down straight dot. Too generic would be specified, but good. Now we have team A. Team A, observation 4. Where is team A? No marks for team A. Team A has disappeared. Team 11.
Statement is a way to make people lead an active lifestyle in urban and rural areas to counter obesity and associated morbidity.
Morbidity.
Morbidity. Our population will be obese people in urban and rural areas.
Good. Well written. Very well. Okay. Team 14. Team 14.
So we divided our users into like four major sectors, which are like urban,
Pick
rural,
one.
old, and
Pick
young.
one and
So
do each it.
then we were defining their needs, which were like prevention towards taking sugary products, and after that awareness in rural people about obesity. Then motivation for urban people, take balanced diet in rural areas because sometimes they don't have.
Give me one need statement which you think is different from what you've heard so far.
So we define the provocation as like how can we encourage people from all backgrounds to be aware and motivated leading towards a active lifestyle.
Good. A way to tell you. Could you repeat your statement?
How might we encourage people from all backgrounds to be
So-
aware and motivated towards leading?
So what we are talking about is encouragement and awareness. Great. Great. I like it. You saw something beyond what is just written. How the way to engage people in or make people aware of healthy dietary habits to reduce obesity related morbidity. Great. Okay. Team 5, observation 2.
We need a way or device help the elderly of like
Keep it.
with time dosages of their medication so that they don't snacks their.
Could you say that again?
We need a way or device to help the elderly management ages above 65 with time dosages of their medication so that they don't miss their medication on this time.
What happens if they miss their meal?
It may worsen their illness.
That's the outcome. That's the outcome. Improve their health. Improve their health. Or prevent deterioration of health. Proper treatment of disease. Those are outcomes. Good. Team 6.
need is to make him not forget his medicine and keep in check of his mind forgetting about it. This is the
So
most
write a need state like a need statement. A way to
Oh, yeah. Okay, so duty pro a way for him to not forget about his intake of medicine. This is the major need that.
but outcome teach people to only talk about the problem. Who does it impact and what is the positive outcome if you solve that problem?
A way to store medicine. During proper storage of medicines, the person forgets where medicines are kept. Uh, then lack of organized
Okay,
consumption.
so you are now thinking about very specific problems which
no.
could be like storage. When you say storage, you are actually going very deep into the very specific aspect of a problem, and that can also be considered solution. Storage is the solution. If you can store it better, it's a better solution. Okay, I'll give you that. You were team 6, right? Good. Who else is on team 10?
The need statement that you identify were aid that reminds as well as assists more specifically the elderly patients to take their medication from time to time. So the outcome being they don't miss it or they don't miss any kind of doses, thus preventing any deterioration.
Okay, good. Course can always be refined, but good start. Team 13.
Good afternoon, sir. So, if I want to say about the need statement properly, so it would be the way to get rid from the chronic disease is to take a scheduled medicine, like a particular person have to set alarm for it, and then it would be beneficial to reduce their health, like whatever so health cases that particular person is facing from, it would be reduced.
But talk about it like a needs.
So, the way to get rid from the chronic disease is to take scheduled medicine on time for their better health.
Okay. Now don't talk about alarms in a need state. That's a solution. Many other really more effective ways of healing. Okay. Thank you. Team 7. Oh, team 9. Sorry, I missed team 9. Okay. Did team 9? What you did? Okay, team 7. Observation 1.
To aid prevention of preventive transfer of contaminants in patients through physical means or contact.
Sorry?
To aid preventive transfer of contaminants in patients through physical means or contact.
Okay. Little on the vaguer side, a little bit more better written. We can talk about it. The problem here is hand hygiene. One of the things that you want your healthcare professionals to do is have better good hand hygiene. What you see here is the person who went from one patient to the other. There may not be a necessity or there may be a reason why the person did not wear their gloves. But if they're looking at one patient and then going to the other patient, they again cross contaminate, like you rightly identified. And the people who are targeted, the population context is physician. I'm talking about it a little bit more because there's only one team who took this, and except for Sarah. Sir will talk about it. What's your thing say?
Okay, so I have tried to do a observation study, and normally, what is the reason why they are not changing? So it can be it can be inconvenience of putting on gloves, or maybe it can be like hurry of moving from one patient to another patient, or it can be problem of attitude also. People don't feel that can be casual approach. So I have further divided into two segments. Can be like design of a better glove. That can be a problem statement which can be easy to put on and put off, or it can be problem can be sort of uh, like why people are not washing. It can be more psychological, something like where they can be facilitated with the ease of cleaning that particular thing. So I pick up the second point better, and my problem statement is that when a doctor is moving from one patient to another patient, there should be some mechanism or some system which can go provide them a easy and cleaner uh, cleaning of their hands actually.
Good. So I like the fact that sir here actually went out and went deeper into the observation. Because the observation is just this is all you will see. You see a doctor going from one patient to the other without cleaning hands. But you have to ask the why. You have to observe and you have to ask the question, why is this person doing this? There is clearly a problem there because you can contaminate the patient. But why did the doctor do that? Good to ask that question. And yes, it's the poor hand hygiene. If I look at that aspect where it's due to hurry or forgetfulness or just attitudinal or lack of access to immediate, doing hand hygiene, performing hand hygiene. So a better way to uh, allow or a better way to provide hand hygiene system to physicians in order to prevent contamination or cross contamination. Great. All right. So we've done all of us except for teammate. They are going to fail today. Where is teammate? Still at time. You want to go? Remember, this goes into your CGPA. You had observation 4, right?
Observation 4, yeah.
Good.
There is a critical need for sustained motivation, support, and accessible resources to help individuals, especially young people, maintain active lifestyle and combat the rising obesity rates in urban and rural areas.
You just rephrase the observation. The obesity rate that can be, you can actually do some pure thinking and say what is the problem of obesity rate. Right? That is an outcome. Morbidity due to obesity is the actual problem. So okay, good. You're not late. That's fine. Thank you for the participation. I hope you got a flavor of what need statement writing is, right? And you would have struggled to get some information. You would have struggled to write it better because you didn't have enough information. That is where the entire primary research, secondary research, talking to people, doing interviews, doing focus groups, looking at literature, looking at what solutions are out there. That activity that it talks about allows you to write better. So the what you felt, I don't have this, I don't have that. That's the activity you were not able to do in the limited time. When you do your primary research, when you do your secondary research, you write your need statement once, then you write it again, then you improve it again, till you have a reasonably well written need statement. And typically, when you do an immersion type of a process, you may have a lot of needs. You will do a lot of observations. You'll think that I saw a problem here, I saw a problem there, I saw a problem there. We typically started with 200 odd needs. Then you go for what is called need filtration. You can't work on 200 problems in the same go. Sometimes you do what is called an intuitive screening. You did a good job of being objective and wrote down need statements for every observation. Then you realize some of these problems are trivial to solve. They are just problems of the institution. There are enough solutions out there, but this institution is not investing in them. Or it is a very simple systematic or systems improvement that will solve this problem. Maybe you don't want to work. So intuitively you can screen a lot of the needs, and then the true filtration you start is by researching, doing background research for those problems. You look at what is the impact from both uh, monetary perspective, human perspective, healthcare aspect, uh, the opportunity side, what is the market side, how many people, how much money is being spent to solve this problem currently, where is that money going to currently, who is spending that money, is it an institution, is it individual? So you see the opportunity side, you see the impact, and then if you are going to think about it from a more entrepreneurial direction, then you also need to understand to sustain it, you need some funding. Are there people or institutions or governments investing in developing solutions? That also gives you a sense of how badly people need it. You can't identify in one go how badly people want that problem solved. And then the feasibility. What is the likelihood of you solving this problem? Or what is the likelihood of this problem being solved? Is it an easy enough or is it too difficult? You need to know that feasibility. You can target a really difficult problem as well. There's nothing wrong in it. You need to know. You need to know how feasible it is to solve this problem. And then final filtration. Another filtration is you really go back to the doctors, the stakeholders, nurses, the patient, the experts in the field. People who are already making products which kind of solve this problem. Talk to them, understand their true requirements. Sometimes the need modifies, sometimes the product modifies, sometimes the solution modifies. And then you filter that down and say, this is the problem that everyone wants solved. They want it, people are funding it. If I solve it, it's going to be a good impact. I can make a business out of it. These kind of understandings you build to do the filtration. And the final choosing point is your team. You can never solve any problem on your own. Remember that. You can never solve any problem on your own. You need other people. Either you already have that team or you're going to build that team. But what is your priority? And what is your capability? We were doing our need filtration. We had couple of needs, which right now is a very big uh, focus point the governments of the healthcare system, antimicrobial resistance. 10 years ago, that was in our top 3 needs. We had to choose which one to work on. We chose to work on ostomy. We could have chosen to work on antimicrobial resistance and detection, and we would have had a really amazing support from the government right now. But we didn't. We really wanted to, but we didn't. Because none of us in the team had any capability of solving that. It was a problem worth solving. It was a problem with, if you solve it, would have a great impact, monetary and human. You could do a very good business with it, but our team did not have the skill set to do that. So we decided, let's not do that. So you can have that team priority or team capability as your last filter to identify what you want to work. I'll quickly run through. I don't want to do a time check. How much time do we have?
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. Okay, I will not keep you from lunch. So this is something that you are more used to. It comes more naturally. You come up with ideas. You want to solve as engineers and designers. You want to solve problems, right? So concept generation. Then how do you build on those concepts? How do you produce? How do you filter those concepts that this will work, this won't work? I think you are more used to that process, but this is where the creativity starts, which is the more fun part. I think that's something that you're more conversant with. The brainstorming, how to do that properly, what you have to the pitfalls you want to prevent. How do you do concept selection? What differentiates your product, the idea, the concept. Again, technical feasibility of bringing that product or the concept to physical realization, and then testing, of course. There is another aspect of the process that we don't study. It can't be studied. It has to be known, and it's common sense, but it has to be told. Otherwise, we forget about it. is the strategy and business planning. Because that is what actually is the implement part of the TIs. Uh, you have to have uh, some or good work done in the early stages of the development itself on what is going to be the business strategy for that product. Whether you would work on that problem to a startup or in a big company, but that problem has to go from paper to a physical product in the hands of users. There is a life cycle of implementation. You have to have a business strategy for that product. What will it take? How much money will it take to develop it, build it, test it, deploy it? How will you hire the team which will build on it? Do you already have it? Do you need to hire? What regulatory approach should you take for the implementation? Because putting medical products in the hands of users requires regulatory oversight. What that pathway would be? You need to do all of that strategy early on, uh, not and not wait till you have a physical product. You have to do that strategizing early, and building the entire plan for the business. Because any product that does not sell or make money for itself will never have any impact on patients' lives, because it will never be able, you will never be able to produce it if it can't sustain itself commercially. So that has to be done properly in the interest of providing impact to patients. Okay, I think I'll stop here. So thank you. That's me. Any questions? Any comments?
Sir, for observation on what four, I will talk of solution. The best solution requires minimum money. The problem is lack of motivation for physical activity. Now I will tell you the reason. In USA, I could convince the people how the cars are killing them. Our body has got a heart to pump the blood. That comes up to the toe of the foot. Now, this blood has to come back to the heart. For that, we have got 3 blood pumps in our foot. We communicate this properly to the society. People will lead active life. This doesn't require money. My suggestion is, most of the problems, best solutions don't require much money.
Any other questions?
I think all of them are tired of making these statements and they are very hungry. We break for lunch. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pranav Chopra, for that engaging and insightful session. The experience and expertise in the field are truly inspiring. We are grateful for the knowledge you have shared with us today. Now, I would like to invite Professor V.K. Gupta, sir, for presenting memento as a token of appreciation as well as certificate to Mr. Pranav Chopra.
This is on light.
Let's thank Mr. Pranav Chopra with a huge round of applause. With that, we will now break for lunch. Please proceed to the dining area of visitors hostel, and we will resume the next session at 2 p.m.